drone strikes and limitless information gathering by police states all over the world, Palantir has seen its profit margins skyrocket. Shame. Founded by white supremacist Trump ally Peter Thiel and Oppenheimer wannabe Alex Karp, these billionaires have openly gloated about Palantir's role in what Peter Thiel calls Western supremacy. Shame. They have openly bragged about the fact that this firm has weaponized machine learning systems to the point of having created a new weapon of mass destruction. Palantir has unlimited access to everyone's most personal data, intel that's generally only gathered by the likes of NSA and CIA. They use this data to surveil and target people far beyond what any amount of human intelligence is capable of. They developed AI that can select and destroy 80 targets per hour, whereas during the Iraq War, a team of 2,000 people could, at best, destroy 30 targets an hour. And what is the cost of this efficiency? A death toll in Palestine that, in 18 months, has approximated the death toll of all 6 years of the war in Iraq. 500,000 dead. Shame. And what constitutes a valid target in this automated genocide? Israel has systematically annihilated entire cities, entire bloodlines, entire towns, thousands of years of history and ways of life. They stalk and kill innocent human beings. They do all of this with inhuman efficiency and justify it via algorithmically generated intel. For over a decade, Palantir is directly contracted out to the IOF. This collaboration has led to the development of 3 horrifying AI programs the entire world should know. If you've been counting some of these, you've heard some of these, but I'm going to briefly talk about them. The first program is chillingly known as the Gospel. The Gospel has been described by a former IOF intelligence officer as a mass assassination factory. The Gospel, which identifies the structures that might harbor the most suspected Palestinian militants, which through selective bias and informational feedback loops is more and more often applied to any Palestinian, and then rapidly targets those structures for destruction. Shame. This program decides which hospital, apartment building, or school to bomb next, oftentimes purely for the sake of deterrence. Supposedly, there's a human involved in the approval of these decisions, but to quote Palantir CEO Alex Karp, sometimes we won't have time to rely on a human.
That's really gross.
This sentiment has been echoed by the commander of the IDF's intelligence unit, who's described it as a human bottleneck, wherein no amount of people they assign to produce targets can produce enough targets in a day. That's where an AI program known as Lavender comes in. Lavender is a program designed to hunt humans and has largely replaced this so-called human bottleneck in Gaza. At the beginning of the war, a sample of Lavender targets were thought to have 90% accuracy, and subsequently, whatever targets Lavender selected have been treated as though they were orders and executed accordingly. Nowadays, the only consistent human evaluation of Lavender's AI-generated targets is to verify that the targets are male. Shame. A senior officer in the IDF has been quoted as describing the Lavender program as the holy grail, saying that once you go automatic, target generation goes crazy. Most terrifyingly of all, there is an AI program tied up with Lavender that must have been named by a serial killer. This program is known as Where's Daddy? Where's Daddy links targets to their family's houses, tracks them, and alerts officers to when these targets return home, so as to kill them all most for life. The vast majority of people murdered by Where's Daddy are thus women, children, and neighbors. Palantir has helped the IOF design and implement all of these programs. They have bragged about their programs having the destructive potential of an atomic bomb. You can see the results of their work in all the flattened cities and murdered civilians throughout the Gaza Strip. And Israel isn't the only country that Palantir works with. They contract all over the world, including at home. For over a decade, Palantir's Falcon program has been mission critical to the operations of ICE. Shame. Human beings don't snitch on their neighbors and coworkers nearly as efficiently as the police state would prefer. And now, AI has taken on the role of a 21st century Gestapo. Thanks to Palantir, and any Western-aligned government can now auto-generate its own customizable final solution. One of the reasons that Palantir is thought to have moved to Denver in 2020 is because of the protests they faced in Silicon Valley over their work with ICE. We stand in solidarity with the protesters who kicked them the fuck out of the Bay Area, and we want to do that here. We stand in solidarity with the protesters who built the Palestine Solidarity encampment at Roya campus 5 blocks away, but all the while, one of the keystone architects of this genocide have continued here, unabashedly, unhindered in their atrocities. If only people knew what was happening just down the street. But this is why Dawa exists. This is why we need your help.